You keep saying you want to get rich, but if somebody watched your daily routine for 1 week straight, would they actually believe you? That's the question that hit me the hardest. Because a lot of people love the idea of success. They love imagining the money, the freedom, the respect, the confidence. But very few people are actually willing to become the person required to hold those things. And that's the part nobody wants to hear. People think getting rich is about luck, connections, talent, or secret information. But honestly, most of the time, it's about how long you can stay focused while everyone else keeps getting distracted. That's it. Most people are not failing because they're incapable. They're failing because they keep stopping. They stop when progress feels slow. They stop when things get repetitive. They stop when life becomes uncomfortable. They stop the moment motivation disappears. And the truth is, motivation was never supposed to carry your life in the first place. Because if you only work when you feel inspired, you'll spend most of your life waiting. The people who actually change their lives usually do the opposite. They learn how to move even when they don't feel like it. That's where discipline starts becoming powerful. Not the fake internet version where somebody acts emotionless and robotic. Real discipline is quieter than that. It's waking up tired and still doing what matters. It's staying focused when nobody is clapping for you. It's repeating boring habits long enough for your life to finally change. And honestly, I think that's why most people never become exceptional. Not because greatness is impossible, but because consistency is difficult. Everybody wants the result. Very few people want the repetition. And another thing that's made me realize is how much time people lose living inside their own head, overthinking everything, planning constantly, waiting for certainty, waiting to feel ready. Meanwhile, life keeps moving. Years pass quietly. And one day people wake up realizing they spent more time imagining a better life than actually building one. That's dangerous. Because deep down, most people already know what they need to do. They know they should learn skills. They know they should take care of their body. They know they should stop wasting hours every day consuming things that add nothing to their future. The problem usually isn't information. It's action. Consistent action. And honestly, one of the biggest mindset shifts for me was realizing that your habits eventually become your identity. If you constantly avoid difficult things, eventually you start seeing yourself as weak. But when you repeatedly do hard things, even small hard things, you slowly build self-respect. That confidence feels different because it's real. Not fake confidence from social media. Not pretending to be important online. Real confidence comes from evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Evidence that you can stay disciplined. Evidence that you can keep going when things become uncomfortable. And I think people underestimate how much discomfort changes a person. The gym changes you. Failure changes you. Responsibility changes you. Pressure changes you. Not because struggle is fun, but because struggle forces growth. Comfort rarely does. That doesn't mean destroying yourself or obsessing over money every second of the day. It means understanding that your future depends heavily on the standards you accept today. And if you keep choosing short-term comfort over long-term growth, eventually life sends you the bill for it. That's why I think accountability matters so much. Not blaming the world forever. Not blaming your circumstances forever. Not waiting for somebody to rescue you. At some point, you have to sit alone and ask yourself a difficult question. If my life stays exactly the same for the next 5 years, whose fault is that? That question changes people because it forces honesty, and honesty is uncomfortable. But honestly, that discomfort is probably where real transformation begins. Not when you watch another motivational video. Not when you feel temporary inspiration. Real change starts the moment you stop negotiating with your excuses. The moment you stop saying later. The moment you finally understand that your future is being built by what you repeatedly do every single day. Not what you say you want, what you repeatedly do. And maybe that's the biggest lesson here. Success is usually less about intelligence and more about endurance. Can you stay focused long enough? Can you stay disciplined long enough? Can you continue improving while other people keep distracting themselves? Because time exposes everybody eventually. The people pretending to work hard. The people wasting their potential. The people making excuses. The people actually building something. Time reveals all of it. So if you're watching this right now, don't just leave feeling motivated for 10 minutes. Actually look at your life honestly. Look at your habits. Look at your routines. Look at how you spend your time when nobody is watching. Because your future is hiding inside those small daily decisions. And the scary part is, years from now, you will either live with the results of your discipline or the consequences of your excuses.
Watching content like this taught me something important about the internet. And honestly, about people too. A lot of creators today know how to get attention, but very few know how to give people something real. And I think that's the difference audiences can feel now. People are tired of fake motivation, tired of loud personalities, tired of hearing the same recycled advice repeated in different ways. What people actually connect with is honesty, not perfection, not pretending to be fearless, not acting like life is easy, just honesty. And one thing I learned from listening to conversations like this is that the strongest message is usually hidden underneath all the emotion. Because if you remove the ego, remove the exaggeration, remove the internet character, the core message is actually simple. Your life changes when you start taking responsibility for it. That's it. Not overnight success, not becoming somebody else, not chasing an online image, just slowly becoming more disciplined, more focused, more intentional with your time and energy. And honestly, I think that's something a lot of creators miss. They focus so much on sounding powerful that they forget to sound human. But the creators people remember long term are usually the ones who make people feel understood. The ones who speak honestly about struggle. The ones who admit that growth is uncomfortable. The ones who don't just motivate you emotionally for 5 minutes, but actually leave you thinking afterward. That's what I want to do with videos like this. Not just repeat somebody else's words, but take ideas, reflect on them honestly, and turn them into something people can genuinely apply to their own life. Because real self-improvement isn't about becoming an internet character. It's about becoming more real, more self-aware, more disciplined, more confident quietly, without needing validation from everybody around you. And I think being an authentic creator works the exact same way. You stop chasing trends constantly. You stop copying personalities. You stop trying to sound like everybody else. And instead, you start speaking from real experiences, real observations, and real lessons you're learning yourself. Because people can feel authenticity, even through a screen. And ironically, the more honest you become, the more people relate to you. Another thing I learned is that value matters more than image in the long run. Anybody can look successful online for a few months. Anybody can act confident on camera. But eventually, audiences can tell who's actually growing and who's just performing. That's why I think the best creators are students first. They're constantly learning, reflecting, improving themselves privately, and then sharing those lessons honestly instead of pretending they already have life figured out. Because nobody really has life fully figured out. We're all learning while moving forward. And honestly, I think viewers respect creators more when they feel genuine instead of perfect. That's what builds trust. Not fake superiority, not acting untouchable, just being real enough to say, yeah, I'm still improving too. So I think the biggest lesson I took from this is that becoming successful, whether in life or content creation, starts with self-awareness. Pay attention to your habits. Pay attention to your mindset. Pay attention to the kind of energy you put into the world, because eventually your content becomes a reflection of who you are. And if you're constantly consuming negativity, chasing validation, copying everyone else, and avoiding growth, your work will eventually reflect that too. But when you genuinely work on yourself, your message naturally becomes stronger, not because you're pretending to inspire people, but because people can feel that you actually live what you talk about. And honestly, I think that's what separates authentic creators from everyone else. Not louder editing, not fake confidence, not acting superior, just truth. Truth mixed with experience, reflection, discipline, and real intention. That's the kind of creator I think people trust long term, and maybe that's what matters most in the end.